got you. Iverson, haha.
Let's go!
Hey guys, welcome to the Geek. It's been 25 years, but Space Jam's back with a new legacy.
That's right, guys. We got LeBron James this time. Does he live up to the old legacy or surpass it? Well, stick around because we're about to find out.
All right, Billy, Space Jam is back. What did you think about the original?
Yeah, man, love the original. You know, I mean, who doesn't like Michael Jordan? You know, and
He's the greatest of all time.
Absolutely, he is. You hear that, LeBron? Sorry, brother. MJ is the greatest of all time. You know,
So
hands
LeBron
down. You
is
see that?
trying-
See this right here? What does that say? What does that say? It's number 23
That's
right
right.
there.
That's why I got it on. But
That's right.
LeBron is trying to fill those shoes.
Larry is pretty dang good too. You know, he's right up there with LeBron.
He's part of that Mount Rushmore of NBA greats, probably.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
At least in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so Space Jam, Billy.
Hey, man. So original was fantastic. Awesome movie. You know, it was cool seeing Michael Jordan and the Tunes all together. And
Yeah, it's really cool seeing, especially back then, with cartoons mixed with live animation. Saw it just on a couple movies. Cool World,
Yeah,
Who Framed
Roger Rabbit, yep.
Osmosis Jones, and we haven't seen it a whole lot since.
Yeah, but no, and you know, and this time around, I got you know the funny thing about this. So, and I think you're in the same boat as me. I went into this movie with super low expectations. Quite honestly, I really didn't want to see it. I thought this movie was gonna suck. You know, like LeBron James. You know, I heard just a little bit. I heard about him. His acting was terrible, and it was like LeBron's acting sucked in this movie. But it didn't deter from the movie that much.
I think we're digitized. We're in the computer.
We're in the computer?
Dad.
You know I'm claustrophobic.
Dad,
How do we
chill
get
out.
out of here?
Dad.
Where's the elevators?
Dad.
Hey Siri, can you let us out of here, please?
Siri.
You know, I actually was pleasantly surprised watching this movie in the fact that I didn't think it was near as bad as what a lot of people were saying it was. You know, I mean, I enjoyed. I mean, the plot. The plot really didn't matter. Who cares? You know, I mean, in these movies, LeBron's kid gets kidnapped by this AI whose algorithm played by Don Cheadle, who did a great job, by the way. Don Cheadle did awesome in this movie.
I didn't mind LeBron's acting until he gets next to Don Cheadle, and then you really see a difference.
Right. Well, the cheesiest part, man, and I actually laughed during these parts because it was so cheesy. When LeBron's trying to get emotional with his son, like hugging on him and trying to fake cry and stuff, man, it was hilarious. I was laughing because of how bad his acting was with that.
Yeah,
So
LeBron reminds me
horrible.
of YouTube creators when they're trying to do a thumbnail. They're making these stupid faces and stuff.
Like us
and
when we
that's
do our
what-
thumbnails.
Yeah, and that's what he seemed like he was doing in the movie.
Right, yeah. No, absolutely, man. His acting was horrible, but luckily, like I said, it didn't take away from the movie, right? I think most people knew going into it, LeBron was probably wasn't going to be a great actor, and really this movie wasn't about for LeBron's acting anyway. I mean, LeBron definitely doesn't. The only time that guy needs to be in front of a camera is when he's on the basketball court. You know what I mean?
He might have
I
been
think that
better
became
when he
pretty
was a
clear.
cartoon in this movie. I don't know.
right, when you just heard his voice, yeah, and you didn't actually see his emotion that much. But no, man. I mean, so the plot with this movie, his algorithm played by Don Cheadle, comes up with this cool game plan of like how to bring LeBron into Warner Brother. Like, hey, we're gonna make LeBron like a face of Warner Brother, have him play in all these movies, and LeBron's just like, nah, man. He's like, nah, I'm a basketball player. This AI logarithm guy you guys set up is horrible. He's whack. You guys need to like get rid of him. And then of course it ticks off Don Cheadle when he gets pissed off. He's like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna kidnap your son, and I'm gonna freaking do just like in the first video and make you play for the stakes being high.
Yeah, they're essentially just coming up with whatever they can to present a basketball game involving Looney Tunes.
Yeah, just like in the first one.
It's not well thought out. It's just.
No, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But the cool thing, what I liked about this one is, the first one looked great, with Looney Tunes stuff and all that. But this one, they did a really good job with it, right? Because they got the CGI stuff to make it look like they're actually in a computer.
Yeah, first they're cartoon animations, and then when they start the basketball game, right before that, they turn to CGI characters.
Yeah, which is cool.
So I don't know if we've seen Bugs Bunny and those guys as CGI characters yet.
I can't recall it.
Yeah.
Well, and the cool thing I like too is when Don Cheadle first sucked in LeBron and his son, you saw, it looked like they were in a computer. It was like Matrixy kind of stuff, and LeBron even made a joke like, "What in the Matrix hell?"
Yeah, it's a very colorful movie.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It almost reminds me of Speed Racer or something like that, where it's just very bright, vivid colors.
Oh yeah. No.
So it's a pretty film for sure, and the animation's great, the shadowing and everything like that.
Yeah,
looks
I thought it was great how Warner Brothers threw in like every Warner Brother character imaginable, right? They went through
there are
little
so
different
many
words
references in
or
this
worlds.
movie.
I mean,
this is almost like what's that futuristic movie that had all the 80s stuff? that we saw. I'm drawing a blank on it, but Ready Player One.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
almost
man.
like Ready
Yeah.
Player One, where
Yeah.
it's like in every frame there's like something for you to notice and pick up.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was cool. It was cool how they did that. I mean, even threw King Kong in there. You know, heck, you even had Rick and Morty had a little cameo in it, and I didn't even know Rick and Morty was owned by Warner Brothers, but evidently Warner Brothers owns Adult Swim. So that was kind of cool having Rick and Morty moment where they're dropping off Tasmanian Devil with the crew. So that was pretty cool.
It's kind of interesting because LeBron's they're talking. He's talking with Bugs Bunny about recruiting a team, and he's like putting all the A-lister Warner Brothers kind of characters. He's like, number one is Superman.
We need Iron Giant.
Yeah, the Iron Giant I think's number two, then Trinity, and then Batman. And for some reason, Bugs Bunny's like, nah, we're getting the band back together.
Right. We're getting the same folks from the first one back together. Plus, Bugs Bunny's the only at this point. Bugs Bunny's the only one living in Toonland. All the rest of them, you know, Don Cheadle talked them into getting out of Toonland, so they're exploring other parts of the Warner Brothers galaxy, I guess, within the computer, right? And that's kind of where it gets, and that's where we see a lot of these other characters is when they're trying to pick them up from different universes. We get to see like the Justice League.
Yeah, and that was really cool too because they took the Looney Tunes characters and put them in other movies. And franchises and stuff like that. So that was really cool to see. I mean, they had like
Lola was with
Matrix,
trying to be an Amazon. You know,
yep, she was in the Wonder Woman kind of series. Daffy Duck was in was that Superman or Batman?
Yeah.
It was one of those kind of ones.
Yeah. And then you had Granny being in the Matrix, right? So yeah, it was cool how they did that and kind of threw all the Looney Tunes characters into all these other Warner Brothers franchises. You know, so you kind of got a good feel from all these other movies, and like I said, you had King Kong in there, and then Don Cheadle makes the what was it, the joke from
Training Day.
the Training Day joke in it, right?
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, King Kong ain't got nothing on me, and of course King Kong is pissed off and folds his arms. So that was cool how they threw that in there. But
yeah, when they're playing the basketball game, the whole Warner Brothers characters are the fans. And that's kind of cool. So there's always something to look at. There was like a lot of Batman 66 characters in there, which is kind of. They even had like a White Walker in there, like the King from that.
The King of the White Walkers. They had a couple of, I think there were a couple other White Walkers in there too that I saw. There was
Wizard of Oz stuff.
Yeah, Wizards of Oz, Harry Potter stuff. Yeah, I mean, they had all. They threw it all in there, right? So I mean, it was pretty cool seeing all that. I like how they put all that together, and then it was cool how the fact that he can bring LeBron and his family in, then he, it's like, okay, well, he can bring them in, he can bring anybody in, right? So LeBron's son develops this video game, right? And he makes it where he can scan characters and bring them into the game. So Don Cheadle kind of steals this from him. And so, he live streams this game. So anybody who's watching the live stream gets sucked in. So then you get like all these people from the real world to get sucked in to be spectators in this game. Then of course, a couple of announcers, they got sucked in as well to announce the games. That was pretty cool how they did that and funny. And then you had, Sasha from Walking Dead playing LeBron James' wife in this, and I think she did a pretty good job. But the funny thing is, one thing I noticed though, man, is like her and Anthony Mackie could be like brother or sister, man. They're like there's like a lot of similarities between their facial features. I was looking at her, I was like, man, she could totally be Anthony Mackie's sister. I mean, I don't think she's not, but I think they look similar. And I was like, maybe they should do a movie together, like some brother and sister kind of comedy or something, But
yeah, I like it was lighthearted. There was a lot of pretty decent comedic events in it for me. I even liked when he hits the ground and like his shadow it leaves a Nike symbol in it.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of like creative.
And then the puff of smoke went, or the puff of dirt went up into like a basketball, and then it went through the hoop. Yeah. So
some really cool stuff going, and they bring a lot of characters, and that brings a lot of nostalgia and a fun factor, I thought.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people have been, I guess, kind of talking bad about this movie, especially because of LeBron James and his acting. And like I said, LeBron James' acting is horrible. It's not good in this movie, but at the same time, it really doesn't take away from the movie that much. It's really not. It's not even. This movie's not even about the acting as much as it is just the scenery.
I mean, it is a kids' movie, and it is available on HBO Max. So, for that, not too bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all. And like I said, you're not even watching this movie, like I said, for the acting. The basketball game's cool. Especially when they throw in this, almost like NBA Jams. I mean, they made it very NBA Jams, this, man. For those of you who grew up in the 80s and 90s like we did, you remember in the 90s NBA Jams, or late 90s, early 2000s when that game came out. And that game was awesome. And they kind of make this basketball game that this kid made very similar to that, right? Where you get different boosts and all this other stuff, and your characters, they even made the characters look kind of similar to that when he was playing the game. So it's kind of cool how they threw the NBA Jams aspect in there. And it just made it a very enjoyable, entertaining kind of setup for the game. And with all the fans out there, with all the different Marvel or different Warner Brothers characters and stuff. So, I mean, acting aside, the movie's pretty decent. Like, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, okay, I'm glad I watched it because I didn't want to. I did not want to watch this movie. And of course, LeBron James is no Michael Jordan. I mean, Michael Jordan's acting was okay in the first one. It was decent. LeBron James wasn't. And like I said, I think Michael Jordan's a better basketball player anyway. Sorry, LeBron. But
it's hard to live up to Michael Jordan.
yeah, exactly. But nah, man. But I mean, but it wasn't as bad as what I've heard other people saying about it. I thought it was a decent movie, and I think kids will for sure enjoy it. Yeah, I think kids will definitely enjoy this movie.
You know, what I thought would have been interesting if he would have gotten the team he wanted instead of having Looney Tunes characters. I know Space Jam's associated with Looney Tunes, but maybe they should have updated that for the modern times and have more characters that people are interested in today, because you don't see too much going on with Looney Tunes anymore.
No, you don't.
Maybe if he would have had Batman in those characters, maybe it could have been an interesting twist on this.
Yeah, or had some of them be the bad guys too, or something. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah,
have famous villains or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The weakest part of the movie actually for me was the basketball game, believe it or not, and it's something weird to get frustrated with.
That's the main part of the movie.
I know, but like. No rules of basketball were being followed. The point system was weird. People are double dribbling, traveling. So I'm just kind of like, what does this have to really do with basketball at the end of the game?
Because the
stuff
basketball game was based off of his son's game, the game he created, which is why the scoring system is all jacked up and all that. They even explained that.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be double dribbling and stuff like that. I mean, to me, being a basketball fan and playing basketball, I just, even though I'm trying to turn off my mind because this is not a movie, you're really in it for the plot, but the basketball stuff annoyed me. It still annoyed me.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's when like Roadrunner had basketball. He never dribbled once. He just had it on his nose to go
I didn't like
right?
that.
So.
I did not like that aspect. I'm like, what do you do? What are we doing here? Why do you even have a referee?
But you gotta think about it. Like, I mean, the rules were out the window. I mean, you had that Chrono character freezing time and like doing that in it, and then you had Don Cheadle freaking doing his cheating and stuff. Like, there was so much cheating and crap going on.
Yeah, I know,
in the
but
game,
you can imagine if you could freeze time, you could still like play basketball to a certain extent, right? But like the stuff they were doing, Don Cheadle is making up rules and stuff as he's going along. So what do I care about a game of basketball being played? Because for all I know, they could have won, and then he could have been like, "Nah, screw that. I'm changing the terms again."
Right.
You throw every rule about anything out the window, so nothing matters. Yeah. It's hard for me to get interested in anything.
That's true. But then if Don Cheadle would have changed the rules again at the end when they won, then he'd have been really...
But he was changing the rules all up until that point, so what difference does it make?
No, that's true. But, I mean, at that point, everybody would have really hated him then, right? And they'd be like, nah, So, I don't know, man.
That was my problem with the movie. I couldn't, like, enjoy any of the basketball kind of stuff because it was just way too out there. I don't even know what the rules are. You haven't even established the rules to me.
Because there were no rules. Even John Cheadle said no rules.
Like, he's like, even like style points. You got style points, you just score 30 points. But LeBron would dunk and do something pretty stylistic, and he would still get 2 points or something like that. So I'm like, you're just pulling points out your butt at this point. Like, so I'm like...
Smokescreen points.
What am I watching?
Cool,
this is silly. It's too silly.
Well, how about though?
I know we're talking about cartoon characters playing basketball, which is silly, but this is too silly.
But how about but look how many points they got when Wile E. Coyote did that freaking the multi-shot, man. When he's like freaking shooting 1,000 basketballs out. I mean, they went from like 100 points up to 1,000 points with that.
Yeah, I didn't like any of it.
Yeah,
didn't like any of it, Billy. The basketball was the worst part to me.
See,
I love when they're recruiting the characters and all that stuff, but I mean, it looked pretty.
It was very pretty, man.
It looked pretty, but I don't know.
I thought the basketball part was cool, man.
I liked it. What
I took it for what it was.
Is they have a lot of characters that you know and recognize, like Pennywise, but that ain't the same character from that movie.
Nah,
and the same with Batman and Agent Smith's in there. You're like, that ain't Agent Smith. Who's this?
No, it was different knockoff actors they had playing those characters for sure.
So that was odd.
Yeah, but whatever, man. That's, I mean, that's they're sideline characters. Nobody really cares about them. It's kind of cool to see them, but
see, all this stuff adds up for me, and I get it boils down to like, now this is a kids movie. If you had some of that stuff buttoned up, it could have been like a Toy Story movie where adults can really enjoy it and kids can enjoy it. But now it's just strictly a kids movie for me.
Yeah, but you got to look at it this way. I mean, God knows how much money they paid LeBron James for that movie, right? So if you want to bring all these A-list actors to come in and play these quick little roles,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the rules to the basketball game and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha,
not getting those characters. I mean, I thought that didn't detract from me. It was still cool to see that kind of stuff and all that, because I had something to look at because I wasn't that interested in the basketball game.
Yeah, see, I thought the game was cool, man. I liked it. Because I took it for what it was. It's supposed to be not serious, crazy game because you got freaking Looney Tunes playing it, right? It's all cartoon
but it
characters.
reminds me of Ghostbusters, the 2016, because Ghostbusters, their people are already dead, right? So they establish rules. You can't kill something that's already dead, so you trap them. Right. In 2016, they're like slicing them up, and I'm like, they're already dead. You can't kill them again.
Right.
So this ventures into that territory where it's just
it's
too much. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand your point on that, but for me, I didn't take it for that. I took it for what it was worth. I just took it as you know, an all-out knock down, drag out, no rules, no holds barred game where they can just do whatever the heck they wanted.
And I wish I could have done that, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Because that's not basketball.
It's not. So, You're right. It's not.
But I mean, but
it was Dom ball, man. You know, so it was a kid's own game.
It was really like turn off your mind and just hopefully be entertained. I wasn't that entertained with that aspect. Apparently, you were more than me, but I just couldn't get beyond that.
Like I said, I was way more entertained than I thought it was gonna be. I thought the movie was gonna be horrible. I honestly did, and I thought it was all right. So I came out of there like, okay, I'm glad I watched it when I didn't want to watch it at all. So
they had
for me, that's a win.
Clever scene with Michael Jordan in it. I won't spoil it for you, but there's an interesting cameo with Michael Jordan, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I definitely liked that. That was awesome. But yeah, that was probably one of the funniest moments in the movie for sure. But yeah, man, no, I mean, for what it was, I thought it was all right. I liked it. So
I think it's a decent kids movie, but I wish the story was a little bit tighter. Again, knowing it's a kids movie still, but that's no excuse to be completely lazy with the story. Yeah,
well, like so the plot. I mean, I could have cared less about the plot. It wasn't that great, and like I said, and LeBron's acting toward. Well, his acting period sucked, but his acting toward his kids, especially in the moments that are supposed to be, oh, I love you, son, and all this, and he's fake crying, is just completely horrible. Like the dude just, like I said, I laughed. I mean, I laughed because it was such a horrible acting in those parts.
It wasn't great.
So there's supposed to be heartfelt moments, man, but you don't feel the heartfelt moments. You feel like laughing because it's just so horrible. The acting is in that spot.
I don't even feel like they're talking in regular language too much either. Like I don't feel like that's how LeBron would be talking if he was talking to his son in these scenarios.
Yeah, probably not.
That, because it's like they're going for that feel good like family structure thing, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think LeBron probably has these type of conversations specifically with his kids. Like I think it's probably looser and better than that, and I think he is probably uncomfortable being in front of the camera, which. Because you look at Don Cheadle, he's really smooth delivering all his.
Oh yeah, dude, Don Cheadle was great. Like in the very beginning, I thought Don Cheadle's acting wasn't that good at first when he was like in the thing by himself, kind of talking, to his little pet. What was his name, Pete or whatever that thing was called. I didn't think it was that great, but then later in the movie, man, when he's interacting with everybody else and getting all mad and stuff, I was like, yeah, there's Don Cheadle right there.
For what they gave him, he did brilliant. Yeah. And we just saw him.
I liked him in that.
No Sudden Move, and then this.
No Sudden Move. Yeah, No Sudden Move. He did an awesome job. Yeah, the movie wasn't super great, but his acting was awesome in it. So.
This movie opened up with LeBron's a kid. What did you think about that scene? How it opened?
I thought that was all right. It was kind of nostalgic, right? The Game Boy, all that stuff. So that was kind of cool.
I will say, I think he was 13 in that scene, that kid, and at 13, LeBron was 6 feet tall. So I'm not buying that kid was LeBron James as a younger LeBron. No way.
Man, no, that would.
I mean, 6 feet tall at age 13. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but I mean, for what it was, I thought the kid did a fine job. I thought it was kind of cool they did that. Because they did that to set up, LeBron's attitude for later on toward his son, right? So, so it was understandable why they played that out the way they did, and I thought it was all right. I thought that kid did a better acting job playing LeBron James than LeBron James did playing himself.
Yeah, probably true. So, how do you score this movie in the end?
So, man, I'm gonna give this movie I'm probably gonna give it a 7. For.
Wow.
And it's being generous, and that's why I'm giving it a 7. It's being generous. I was debating maybe a 6, but I'm going to give it a 7 because I was going into it not thinking I was going to like it. And I was surprised. Like I said, LeBron's horrible acting aside, it was a decent movie. And Don Cheadle was definitely great in it towards the end, especially. And so I was like, I enjoyed it. What about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I like all the references. I like that they even start off playing like Ghetto Superstar. I remember that song back in the day, but the basketball stuff and everything. It's a very forgettable movie for me. If I was with my kids and my kids enjoyed it, that would be worth something more to me. I didn't watch it with my kids, unfortunately, though. And for me, it's very forgettable, not as good as the original. I'm giving this a 5.
Ooh, 5. I mean, it's definitely not as good as the original, but wow, okay.
Yeah, right, well, compared to all the other movies we saw, you putting it on some of those levels? I don't think so.
And well, you're right, and I probably shouldn't be, and I'm being generous. But like I said, it's because it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Like I said, I did not want to watch this movie. I thought it was going to suck, and it didn't suck. So for me, that was a win. And I was like, okay, it didn't suck.
I think there's some moments that everyone can enjoy in this.
Right, absolutely.
Because I think
very
comical.
I think you just hit the nail on the head there. There's something in this movie for everybody. There's certain parts that anybody's going to enjoy. Are you going to enjoy the whole movie? Probably not. But there's definitely different aspects in there that you're probably going to like. So, I mean, it's worth watching, I think. I think it's worth watching.
If you're a fan of the Looney Tunes, I think you will like and appreciate this movie.
Definitely.
So...
All right, guys. Well, that is our review of the new Space Jam. We hope you liked our review, and we'd love to hear what you think about it. So please comment, press like and subscribe if you like our channel. We'll catch you at the next review.
See you guys.
Why are you doing that right now?
Just remind me.
Of what?
Notes, man, notes.
Notes, all right.
I need notes.
Need
Notes.
notes.
Put my drink to cover my phone.
I just don't want to drink it.
Incognito. You know
Like-
who's in it?
Yeah. LeBron James.
Love Bunny is Zendaya, I think.
Yeah, Zendaya, yeah.
Zendaya.
How do you say her name? Zendaya.
Zendaya.
Yeah, and I don't care, dude.
But there's probably some others.
I don't care about the voices, man.
Hey, he's a pro. He's a pro, ladies and gentlemen.
You two are a joke, you know that?